Nice. We're live. Heck yeah. Feels
Yeah,
good. Heck
yeah,
yeah.
it does.
Uh, Welcome back, football fanatics, armchair quarterbacks, couch potatoes, and anyone who has ever claimed they could have made it to the pros. My name is Kyle, and this is the Stoned on Sports podcast. Just want to say a big thank you to our listeners and our subscribers. Thanks for watching, listening, and interacting with us on here. We really appreciate it more than you know. We love our listeners. We're here today to recap week 3 of the NFL, discuss some waiver wire targets for week 4. We'll check in on our listener fantasy football league. Ramey probably doesn't want to do that, but and then we will touch on the terrible excuses Ramey will give for losing every bet he made this weekend.
Yes.
Matt is unable to join us due to a prior commitment, but thankfully Ramey is here to keep me in check. Ramey, what's new, brother?
Not much. I mean, it was a weird weekend in the NFL. A lot of unexpected results. I heard somebody say, I forget what show it was, but the NFL was drunk this weekend. And
It sure was.
like just the Dolphins winning by 50, the Colts going to Baltimore and winning, Houston
The
beating
Cowboys
Jacksonville.
the Cowboys.
Cowboys. A lot of unexpected results, which contributed to my very poor gambling weekend. So I talked to you guys in our little group text, and I did not win a bet this weekend between college and the pros. So Notre Dame let me down. We'll talk about that a little bit. I actually bet Michigan and the spread and got a push. So that's not technically a loss. So I guess I didn't lose every bet this weekend. I did get, I lost every bet except for that push where they won by 24. So
yeah, Michigan has not covered the spread.
Yeah.
This year
they were very close this time.
Yep.
Yeah.
The we got what, 3 unbeatens: Eagles, Dolphins, and Niners.
Yep.
12 of the past 14 teams to start 3-0 have gone to the playoffs, so those teams are looking in good shape. Then you got the other side of the coin: the Bears, the Broncos, the Panthers. They're already eyeing, the 2024 draft.
I saw with the dynamite.
Oh, and the Vikings too, and the Vikings as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dynamite matchup of Denver going to Chicago this week. Denver gets beat by 50 and they're favored by 3 against the Bears in Chicago. So it's like, wow. How bad are the Bears?
God, I'm so glad that's a Monday 1:00 game and not some night game. Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck. That would just be horrible. Just horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cowboys, Cardinals. We could start there, I guess.
Sure. Let's go.
Surprising. I think the teams that saw the Cardinals on their schedule this year felt like the Cowboys kind of went in there thinking, we're just going to win, and they didn't show up. You still got to show up. This is the NFL.
Yeah.
Surprising.
Arizona had 222 rushing yards against that Cowboys defense. Yeah. Defense kind of let them down. I mean, the offense didn't play great, but they got in a hole that they just couldn't get out of. And the Cardinals, to their credit, they played really well. I mean, they controlled the clock. They scored when they needed to, and they held the Cowboys offense at bay.
They were 1 for 5 in the red zone.
Yeah,
just pitiful for that team. You would think it was a weird weekend. That was definitely the first game of it. They never trailed. Cardinals are they never trailed. Cardinals were in the lead the whole time. I think I saw Prater kicked a 62-yarder. That guy's just still, he was with Detroit for many years, kicking those long ones, and it's nice to see him still doing it, smashing 62-yarders. Jesus.
Yeah. It was one of those where I think Arizona was up either 12-3 or 12-0, something like that. And it was like, oh, that's kind of surprising. And you just thought, oh, the Cowboys, it's early. The Cowboys are going to get back into it. They never really could. Dak had a touchdown and a pick. He was just shy of 250 yards passing. But again, it's one of those head scratchers, and it probably gives the teams like the Eagles, the Niners, even the Saints to an extent, a kind of a blueprint on how to beat the Cowboys when they play them later in the season.
I mean, they can't. The other big problem was Dallas shot themselves in the foot. They had 13 penalties for 107 yards. Which is it's just crazy to see how well they played. The first couple of weeks of the season, shutting out the Giants, and then they played like crap. They had, a bad week in practice. They lost Trayvon Diggs last week, and that probably, hurt them in some way, mentally as well. But I got to feel like they just thought they could go in Arizona and just be like, this is just the Cardinals. They're rebuilding. Kyler's hurt, new coach. We'll just go in there and clean up. And they forgot to take care of business and actually, the penalties they can clean up. They can clean them up this week.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing that Dallas offense with Kellen Moore last year. I saw one play where the three receivers were all in the same, 6-7 yards apart from one another, and you're like, why did you call? It was something not just short off to the left, I guess, but like there was nothing stretching the field to try and pull anybody's safeties away, nothing. And I saw that a couple times, and I'm like, ugh, they're really missing Kellen Moore.
Yeah. Everybody was singing Mike McCarthy's praises in week 1 and week 2, and then it's the flip side of it. You got to take the blame when things don't go well, and they certainly didn't. And that was a win that may come back to bite them, because upcoming they have New England at home this weekend, and then they go to San Francisco, the Chargers. They have the Rams at home, but then they go to Philly. So 3 out of the next 5 games could really be challenging, and they could be looking at maybe a game or two over 500 after half point of the season. So when you've got a team like the Eagles in your division that's 3-0 and looks like they're improving on offense, it's kind of scary to think about that you may be fighting for a wild card when the season's coming to an end.
I was hoping to mentioning them playing the 49ers. I believe it's at San Francisco.
Yeah,
right?
in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. That's
Sunday night.
That gives you those 90s feelings, and Steve Young versus Troy Aikman and stuff. And then something like this happens this week with the Cowboys, and you're like, oh, well, shit, maybe they ain't ready. Because that 49ers team, I've said it before, I'll say it again, they're the most complete team in the NFL, even if you want to count special teams. They got a rookie kicker, Jake Moody, out of Michigan. That's excellent so far through the first 3 weeks. So, but that'll be a good matchup. Any more Cowboys, Cardinals? Congrats to the Cardinals, though. I mean, they really did some stuff. Rondale Moore had a big run.
Yeah, it was a run. Yeah, it was like
that's what I thought. I thought it was a
big
sweep or something.
Long run. Yeah, it was. It was what kind of second quarter. I don't remember exactly. But I remember seeing the highlights. I was stuck watching Kansas City and the Bears and Tay.
Gotcha. Yes, Tay, of course. Oh my god. Isn't that the coolest thing? His jersey sales have soared, and he's got 400,000 more followers on Instagram, and geez, good for him. That's what's happening. Good for him. Kudos to you. He needs to get back to the beard or something. He needs to get that's
you don't like
maybe she doesn't like beards on men, and that's why he decided to change up. Because the little rumor is they've seen each other a few times. In private and stuff, but more stuff will come out. I'm sure TMZ will be on it.
Yeah, if anything, he's a very smart businessman, because this relationship has benefited him greatly so far.
Sure has. Let's talk about that big one: Dolphins Broncos. Fins won 70-20. Mostert had 4 touchdowns. Devon Achane had 4 touchdowns. Tyreek had
on my bench.
Devon Achane on Ramrod's bench. Yes. Yes, he does. But this was some video game type stuff. I am surprised the Broncos didn't toss their fucking controller at the wall and turn the fucking game off, because that's what I would have done. Matt'll tell you that. He might be. We played baseball when I was at his house just last month, and he was up like 10-1 or something, and it was the 7th, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. But the Dolphins scored at least 14 points in each quarter. They had 30 first downs. 30 first downs. 350 rushing yards, 376 passing yards. Tua looks good. Early favorite for MVP, in my opinion. Let's see. The other big thing I saw. Oh, do you know when Tua's first incompletion was?
I know that when I really started paying attention, he was 18 for 21. So I'm guessing it was probably after halftime.
It was 9:44 left in the third.
Yeah. That's nuts. And the
And
Broncos
it's
defense
just
was supposed to be kind of good.
kind of good because
Yeah.
Vance Joseph is there. He was the head coach of the Broncos. I don't know when was that, 8 or 10 years ago or something
Who
or
who
less.
hasn't been the head coach of the Broncos in the last
Yeah,
10 years?
no kidding. Jesus. But yeah, Devon A-Chain, he's going to be a waiver wire
Oh,
discussion here later on in the podcast, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't start him. If you
me
do have
too.
him on your team, I suggest you start him this week.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get more work because Mostert's old. They're gonna work him in, and I bet it'll be 50-50 going on. But
Yeah.
just nuts, just insane.
I saw that meme out there of Mike McDaniel when he was a ball boy for the
Yes,
for the Broncos, like when he was
Yeah.
like 18 years old. I think he was
How
18
young
years
did he
old.
look? I know I saw the
Yeah.
video. How young did he
Yeah.
look? And he's young now. He's a young looking guy now.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. He is. He's done something that a coach hasn't been able to do in the last 25 years. Post Dan Marino, really, is make the Dolphins, other than maybe Jimmy Johnson to an extent, but he's made the Dolphins a must watch. Like they are fun off, even outside of the 70-point anomaly.
Yeah.
Like they're a fun offense to watch. They are fast at every position. Tua, as long as he can stay healthy, I don't see any reason why he couldn't keep up these numbers. He is so accurate, especially with the deep ball. And it helps to have Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill had 157 yards and a touchdown last week and really didn't have to work that hard. So you've got Waddle, who didn't even play, and you still put up 70. So they've got weapons. They're offensively versatile. They can run, they can pass. Tua's typically in the pocket, but he's mobile enough that he can get out of there, and he seems to be protecting himself pretty well. So I know that we thought they would be better as long as Tua stayed healthy, but I don't think anybody saw this coming.
No, he's over 1,000 yards passing, got 8 touchdowns, only 2 picks. He's looking really good.
Yeah.
Really, like I said, he's early season MVP candidate for sure. You can't not throw him in that bag.
And that defense seems to be getting better too. Vic Fangio's first year defensive coordinator coming in, and they struggled the first couple of games. Struggling is a strong word, but there was some inconsistency the first couple of games. Granted, the Broncos offense isn't going to keep anyone up at night, but they've been fairly productive. Russell Wilson's had a nice year so far. But that defense seems to be getting better too. And if you think about that defense continuing to improve with like Bradley Chubb and others on that defense, it's kind of scary to think where they might be. And it looks like a team, they may not have to, but if they need to travel into a cold weather town in the playoffs, like Kansas City or Buffalo, they'll be able to do that.
I think so. And Jalen Ramsey's going to be back this season, correct?
Is he? I thought he was out for the year.
Is it for the year?
I thought so, but I don't know for sure.
For some reason, I thought it was going to be this year, but no. It was his meniscus, not ACL.
Oh, so maybe he will be back. Yeah, it depends. I know with the meniscus, like you can have a surgery and get back sooner.
Expected to be sidelined until December.
Oh, wow. That would be a heck of a late season.
5 months. He had it in July. Yeah, that'd be 5 months. So, yeah, okay. So that would be huge for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially
huge.
when you're thinking about the teams that you could potentially be facing in the playoffs, like the Chargers or the Broncos.
Yeah, with these.
Not the Broncos, the Chiefs.
It'd be nice to have a shutdown corner. Sure.
Yeah. Along with is it Xavier Howard, the other quarter?
Yep.
So
very good
having 2 really good corners, definitely a luxury when you're facing some of those teams in the AFC.
Let's switch to the NFC for a second. I can't not talk about my Lions. Falcons came to town and Lions won 20-6. They completely shut down Bijan. I think he only had 30 yards.
33.
Yeah,
only had 10 carries too.
Yeah, well, I mean, what were they going to do? We kind of made them one dimensional. You know,
Yeah.
we do a good job, and Ritter's not the guy when you're in a one dimensional, environment.
Yeah.
Um,
Ritter had 38 passing attempts, and when Desmond Ritter has 38 with that offense, when Desmond Ritter has 38 passing attempts, they're probably not
yeah,
going to win.
yeah, and I think I said on Thursday, they're looking to run the ball 40 times,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
Detroit said nope,
Yeah.
not here,
Yeah.
not here,
Hey,
because they got
Yeah.
if you the last time that the Falcons came to Ford Field was the overturned Golden Tate touchdown right at the end zone. And it was right at the end of the game, and the Lions didn't have any more timeouts, and there was a 10-second runoff, and the game was over. I think that was 2015. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But
I'll take your word for it.
Yep. But Jahmyr Gibbs did well. With Monty out, he had Jesus. I don't know where it is. What did he have?
80 yards. He had
Yeah.
17 carries for 80 yards, so he's just under 5 yards a carry. That's pretty solid.
Yep. And the other rookie, Laporta, the tight end, did very well. He has 18 catches through the season so far, most in the NFL for tight ends.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. He kind of helped me win our little daily fantasy game on Sunday.
Yep. Oh, we got a listener. Hi, listener. How you doing? Watcher, listener, subscriber, hopefully. If you're not, please subscribe. We'd appreciate it.
Yes.
If you got any comments or questions or anything about week 3 or week 4, we won't really talk about too much. Well, waiver wire we'll talk about. But if you got any waiver wire things, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But if you want to talk about it now, we certainly can.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good game. Lions looked tough at home, and the defense finally showed up. They had 7 sacks after only having, I think, 1 the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was great. They looked so much better. Aiden Hutchinson finally got home twice. That was nice to see, especially with the loss. Like we lost James Houston, went on the IR, before the game that week.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was worried. Who's the other guy that did so? Alim McNeil had, I think, a sack too and a bunch of pressures, but it was nice. And he's a defensive tackle. He's getting a lot of pressure up the middle.
Yeah.
Liked it. That they looked like Dan Campbell said they looked like a hungry, violent defense, and I am inclined to agree.
Yeah, it's good to see coming off of the loss against the Seahawks that they came in, they took care of business, and they're sitting at 2-1.
Do you think the addition of Taylor Swift to the Chiefs roster is going to result in more or less touches? Well, if we're going that way, I'm thinking hopefully he gets to touch her.
Yeah, hopefully more touches. Definitely.
Hopefully lots of touches. She's a busy woman, with her career as well. But he's definitely, we were just talking about it earlier, he's definitely getting the perks of that relationship.
Yeah.
He's getting jersey sales and more Instagram followers and lots of attention on social media. And I mean, ESPN did quite a quick turnaround this weekend. It was Coach Prime. Well, actually, we're referring him to Coach Choice now. We cannot say Coach Prime anymore. Coach Choice, because he got slaughtered this weekend, which we all knew was going to happen. But anyway, they did this quick turnaround there in ESPN where it was Coach Prime, and then it was Taylor and Travis. That's like all they talked about. That's like all they talked about.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But hey, good for him. But to your point, melting snowman. I hope he gets more touches. Touches.
Yeah, he's getting that.
I don't have him on any of my teams this year. But do you?
I have him on one of mine. Not obviously not the league, the listener league, because I don't have anyone that's good, and if I do, they're on my bench. But
right. It's okay.
Yeah. So
it's all right.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Lions. So they looked good. They got the Packers Thursday. We'll talk about that more Thursday night. They go to Lambeau. I'm glad it's earlier in the season instead of December. And the weather. So it's good stuff. Because while we're in Detroit, we still play inside. So,
Yeah.
But great question there, melting snowman. Okay, your Colts.
Yeah. Let's talk
Yeah,
about my Colts, my
the
AFC
two.
South leading Colts.
Yes, the 2 and
Here we
1
go.
AFC South leading went into Baltimore and put the smack down, and then they went 22-19. But
Yeah.
I mean, you thought it was over when Justin Tucker was going to hit a field goal, and you're like, oh, it's 61 yards. Justin Tucker can hit 61 yards
Yeah.
in his fucking sleep.
Yep.
But he
Yeah.
missed.
Yeah. Granted, the elements had something to do with it. It was a pretty nasty day. They had either a hurricane or a tropical storm come through. It was on the tail end when the game started, but it was still raining and there was a little bit of wind. But got credit to the Colts defense. The Colts defense came in. They took care of Lamar Jackson for the most part, limited him to 202 yards passing. He did have 101 yards rushing. So maybe they didn't contain him. They just contained everybody else. And the Ravens had a lot of injuries, a lot of guys out, basically lost their entire running back core before and during the game. So we'll talk. We'll actually hit on that maybe a little bit during our waiver wire potential pickups. But Garner Minshew came in and did just enough. He was fairly accurate. He was 27 for 44. He had 227 yards. Matt Gay made Chris Ballard look like a genius for paying him that much money as a kicker.
If you remember, I criticized that decision in our
I did too
preview, and like it was the largest contract for a free agent kicker in history, and I was just like blown away by it. But what the fuck do I know? 4 field goals over 50 yards. Melting snowman. Do Colts defense have fantasy value? Ramey, what do you think?
I think they do. I don't think it's a defense you want to start week in and week out just blindly. It's not a Cowboys type defense. Granted, the Cowboys defense didn't have a great week this week, but I think depending on the matchup, they're absolutely a starting caliber defense. Their secondary is a little inexperienced. Their front seven is where their strength is. They're good against the run. So in the AFC, it's probably tough to start them every week with the caliber of quarterbacks. But depending on who you're playing, like if you were playing the Titans, even to an extent, like a team like, I would start whoever's playing the Jets, but a team like the Broncos, as long as you're not starting those big kind of 3 or 4, like I wouldn't start anybody against the Dolphins right now, but
no.
Dolphins, Chiefs, Chargers, Bills to an extent, but the Bills haven't been setting the world on fire this year. They did put it on the Commanders pretty well.
He followed it up too with how do you like how they match up against division opponents. I think they have Tennessee in 2 weeks. They have the Rams next week, Jacksonville after that, Cleveland after that, New Orleans. Who knows? When Derek Carr's going to be back. There are some, Matt Stafford's in there and Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't looked super.
No. Yeah. And
it's somebody to pick up and maybe think about over the next 5-6 weeks.
They held the Texans to 20 points last week, and the Texans went into Jacksonville and put up 38. Is that right? 37.
38.
Yeah. So I think if you're looking for a team to start, like I said, as long as it's not against one of those high-powered offenses, the top 3 or 4, I think they're worth a start. Till they show otherwise, they've done a really nice job so far.
Really do. If you look at it's LA, Tennessee, Jacksonville, Cleveland, New Orleans, Carolina, New England. That's not high powered. And then they got a bye. Tampa Bay,
Tennessee again.
And then Cincinnati would normally be high powered, but we'll see if they right the ship.
And that's in Cincy in December. So depending on what Burrow's calf looks like at that point, and then you finish with Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Houston. So their schedule their schedule kind of opens up, and I think they're off to a better start, especially considering Anthony Richardson's been out. He did play the first 2 weeks, but he didn't play Sunday, and they don't have their best player in Jonathan Thomas. I was thinking of JTT, Tiger Beat, those kind of things.
Right.
that's a great question. Wonder what the line is for them winning the division. It's
Yeah,
certainly,
I'm logging into DraftKings right now to see.
I would say it's certainly better than it was before the season.
Sure,
The
sure.
the Jaguars don't look as good as I thought they would.
No,
I know that Doug Peterson gave up play calling duties, and it seems like up until the second half of that Houston game, it didn't look like it was a good decision. They did kind of turn it around in that second half, although it wasn't enough to come back. Um, Depending on that line, I might throw a couple dollars on them winning that division.
let's see. AFC South. Jaguars are still the favorite, plus 125 on DraftKings. Tennessee plus 250. Indianapolis 27 plus 275, and the Texans at plus 1100. So I actually
270.
thought, yeah, that's strange. I would have thought they
Yeah.
would have been like still the Jags first, but then the Colts second, and not the Titans. I don't understand.
Yeah,
Hmm.
especially
But
how the-
again, check your different
yeah,
gambling platforms. Because, like I said, I just pulled up DraftKings real fast.
yeah. That's why.
But that's
That's why you
interesting.
That's why you shop. See if
Yep,
you can get.
must
There's value there though. I mean, granted, you don't know what's going to happen with Jonathan Taylor, but if he comes back and he plays and he's not a malcontent or upset or doesn't do anything to kind of upset the chemistry, him and Anthony Richardson in that backfield could be pretty electric. And knowing that you have one of the best backups in the league, in the event that Richardson does get hurt, Gardner Minshew has shown he can come in even if it's a 2 or 3 game stretch and be a very competent backup. So
Hey, to go in Baltimore and win in the weather there, the elements. I mean, that's yep.
it's really encouraging. So
Sure.
that's why I'm repping my Colts gear this week.
Yep. Any more Colts Ravens discussion?
No.
Think anything?
One little thing, I didn't know no one had ever done this before, but Matt Gay kicked 4 50-plus yard field goals. He's the first kicker to ever do that in a game. I would have thought that just the amount of games that have happened in NFL history that had happened before, but like we talked about, he's earning his money for sure.
He is. He got a 4-year deal, and he converted 4 field goals over 50 yards. There you go.
Yeah.
But no, good stuff. I mean,
yeah,
they wouldn't have won that game without him.
No, you're absolutely right. Especially if they'd had the kickers that they've had over the last 2 or 3 years since Vinatieri retired. It's been inconsistent at best, and a lot of times it's been worse than that. So, but yeah, no, good start for the Colts. We can move on to other games. I know that there's others that you want to talk about. We still need to get to waiver wire pickups.
Yeah, where are we at? 27 minutes. I'll just talk about Monday night, a couple games there, and we'll finish that up.
Sure.
Eagles at Bucks last night. Eagles won 25-11. Weird NFL score. You don't see that one too often. Eagles are 3-0. Bucks are 2-1. Baker finally looked like Baker against a stout defense. I think they played the Bears and the Vikings. So, not a huge test there. He was, let's see, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Mike Evans is still his favorite receiver. In the preseason, I really thought it would be Godwin, but he only got 5 targets, 3 receptions for 32 yards. So, I guess I was wrong there. It is early, but we'll see.
There was a play early in that game where Baker threw it to Evans deep and Evans would have scored a touchdown had he caught it. Mm-hmm. And he got to his credit, he did kind of get it ripped out, but it's a catch that he probably should have made. And you kind of wonder if he had caught that and gone in for a touchdown, how the tenor of that game could have changed, because I think it was still a pretty close game at that point.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. It could have. I just, we didn't expect the Bucks to even be 2-1 at this point.
No.
And they are, but yeah, against a good defense, they're just not going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Jalen Carter is the truth.
Yeah. Jeez. It's crazy.
He dominated last night. That Eagles defense is legit, and the offense is getting better.
They are. And DeAndre Swift had 130 yards on 16 carries, averaged 8-1 a carry. He's averaging 6.8 yards a carry on the year. That's just
Yeah.
insane. And from him being an ex-Lion, I mean, being a Lions fan, they primarily used him more as a receiving back. And he only had 2 targets last night, 1 reception for 8 yards. And it's just like, okay, he always was hurt. So then I don't know if the Lions just never wanted to run him or what, but they're using him different. It's working. I know. I think me and Matt were kind of bullish on, or fading him this season, but so far it's looking good. AJ Brown had 9 receptions for 131 yards. Hurts had a decent game too. Threw 2 picks, I think, but yeah. Kevin Valentine, what do we got here? What is this? 12-man full PPR, 2 flex spots. What do we got here?
Ooh, that's a lot of people.
Hurts, Brees, Kamara, CD. I don't know what bench is. So, what's the question? Do you know?
Yeah. Njoku, Spears, Hunt, K. Miller dropped for Charbonnet. Any suggestions? I would now take this with a grain of salt.
He wants to drop one of those players for Charbonnet. Is that what we're saying?
I'm not sure, honestly. But
hey, Kevin, if you can just clarify. Oh, well, he's followed up about how should I feel about Cleveland Browns to win division bet? Need that 1.2 payout. That's a good one. That AFC North division's tough, but I guess 12-man full PPR, 2 flex spots. Yeah, I guess I don't fully understand the question, Kevin. If you could be just a little more specific.
Yeah, I think I would keep London on my bench. I suck at fantasy football so far. So London could look like a guy that you could potentially drop because that offense just is not good through the year.
Okay. So he's just wondering about the roster, if I should let it ride or make any moves. How has Hollywood Brown been doing?
He had a good game I think he caught a touchdown pass against the Cowboys. So he's not doing bad.
If I'm guessing, since it's 12-man, Josh Palmer may be available. Personally, I would want somebody like him because the offense with the Chargers is much more potent than the offense in Arizona. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Ramey?
I would. If you're going to drop one again, take what I say with a grain of salt. But if you've got London sitting on your bench, he hasn't done anything this year, and it doesn't look like he's going to do anything with Desmond Ridder as the quarterback. So I don't know. I definitely keep Addison because I think he's going to be a consistent fantasy output.
Yep. And Njoku is your backup tight end. I mean, honestly, that's a look there too. And Njoku, like maybe because you got Laporta. You could just stream a tight end that week because Njoku's not been doing great.
Yeah, and
Spears been getting more plays. Kareem Hunt, you're not sure what's going to happen there. Yeah, he was there last year. Yeah, he has knowledge of the playbook, but he's 30 years old, right? Or something. Yeah, 29 and 30. And shit, no, actually, is he 28?
Kareem Hunt.
Was trying to think of package someone with Laporta for Kelsey. I mean that the time to sell Laporta is now high. I think that Ramey would agree now. If you could get the top tight end in the league, that's a top 5 player in this league, I would probably pull the trigger on that one.
Yeah. If you could get Laporta for Kelsey and add maybe a Kamara, you might have to add a little bit more than that. You might have to add CD and Laporta for Kelsey, maybe something like that. I don't.
Yeah, I'm guessing who knows who's the wide receivers on this Kelsey team that he's talking about. So you're going to need to replace some volume there. And I would definitely say don't hang on to don't plan on hanging on to CD. Olave would have been nice if we knew what was going on with Connor. I would say maybe throw him in with it too. See what but I don't think you're going to be able to hold on to CD. And if you were going to choose between CD or Amon-Ra, I'm choosing CD to right. I'm a Lions fan though, but ARSB is just a first down machine as well. Goff's favorite target. But yeah, good luck on Cleveland winning though, so you can get that big win. I'm pulling
Yeah.
for you, Kevin. Yeah.
So
I mean, the AFC North is just always just black and blue bruiser
brutal.
division, and the weather always plays issues in there in the Rust Belt, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can get Kelsey and package Laporta and a couple other another playmaker with that, like a CD, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, for sure.
Heartbeat.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about the Rams and Bengals, but do we want to? We can. Or if you want,
we can quickly touch on it.
Okay.
It was obvious that Cincinnati made a conscious effort not to throw the ball downfield with Joe Burrow's injury. They kept the passes within 10 yards for the most part, and they relied on Joe Mixon to have a really big game. They played a good game, and they scored just enough to kind of outpace the Rams. Rams played really good. Their defense looks good. Their offense looks like it's not quite where it was a few years ago, but nobody expected that. Puka Nacua had kind of came back down to earth last night because he was in my starting lineup. So of course he did. But it was a fun game, and that's all I really got to say about that. I don't really have a whole lot. It wasn't like a thrilling game or anything, but it was a good game played by the Bengals.
Yep. Burrow looked good. He was definitely not as mobile as he had been, but you could tell that still bothering him, and it looks like he doesn't feel as comfortable throwing the ball as he has in years past because he just can't fully get the right stance with that calf strain. Jamar Chase broke out, had 15 targets, 12 catches. He did a good thing. He did do a good job of spreading the ball around. He got to 9 different receivers last night. The Bengals sacked him 6 times. Trey Hendrickson. Oh my God! So I met that cat.
Really?
Yeah, I was when I lived in Florida. I worked for a pest control company, and one of the fellow technicians there was his uncle. So he actually came in and visited like our little morning roundup deal or whatever, and it was right after. No, it was either right after or right before he got drafted. It was that month. It was in April, but I don't remember exactly when. I'm just looking up at him like, guys, he's a big guy. Cool kid though. I watched him when he was with the Saints because he was picked there, drafted there, and he knew he was going to be good. He was showing some good talent, and now he got that big deal in Cincinnati. He's just going great. But
yeah,
and Kyron Williams wasn't effective.
Yeah,
Rams went 1-11 on third down. You're never going to win that. You're never going to win that game.
Yeah, Stafford was sacked 6 times. So I mean, he was consistently under pressure, and that's not how he as experienced. I'll say it nicely as he is.
Right.
He's not mobile like he used to be, and you're just not going to have a good day if you can pressure him like that. So
no.
Yeah. So yeah.
Cooper Kupp comes back in a couple weeks, and they'll figure it out. So the Rams haven't looked bad, but
do you like the 2 Monday night games?
It's kind of difficult because I'll usually set up 2 TVs sometime, or set my laptop off to the side with one of the other games. I was watching the first game; it got kind of boring, and I think I switched over at halftime. And then I never went back to it because I kept seeing the score on the top right corner of the screen or top left corner of the screen on the other game. So I just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is football till, from 7:15 to 11:15 at night. You get 4 hours versus 3 hours. So, and I'm going to soak up as much football as I can. But.
Absolutely. And
all right.
I do like it. It gives you the potential. If you have one dud, you can move over to a potentially more exciting game.
Yeah.
So,
but both of them are kind of, nothing super great. Let's transition over to waiver wire targets for week 4. There he is. He's there still. I think that I will shrink that next time and make that
that's fine.
A little smaller.
Well, Matt will be back, so you have to.
Yeah, I'll have. That's true. Yeah.
It'll be different.
Who?
Yeah, right.
This is going so well. I really don't
Yeah.
think like we need him anymore. So
Yeah, I thought you were going to lead off with the truth that we actually kicked him off the island, and it's just
yes.
us now.
Yep. Lord of the Flies up in. Uh, but waiver wire targets, I think the number one is Devon A-Chain with the Dolphins.
Yes.
Yeah, he posted a 50 plus fantasy points. Just start him. Okay.
Yeah.
But grab him if you, yeah, please be patient. But yeah, Raymond
Yeah.
had him on his bench this week, and he's going to be hurting on that for a while.
I sure will.
Yeah, I would put a claim in for him if you're doing a fab where you got a bid. Ooh, that's a toughie. I'd say 10% of your balance. So if you're at 100, I'd pay $10 for him. So Matt paid $99 for Jerome Ford last week.
Wow.
He blew his whole fab on one player. So interesting strategy. But yeah, I would definitely put a. What's that?
He did have a nice week.
Oh, Jesus.
Also on my bench.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Another big one, wide receiver Tank Dell out of Houston. He's already got 52 points on the season, fantasy points on the season, and he's in the top 20 at the position right now. He looks explosive, dynamic. He's going to have consistent opportunity in this pass happy offense. It was strange too if you watch some of the game or some highlights. Stroud threw the ball 30 times and they were up like the whole time. It's strange. I thought they'd run the ball more, but they're like, nope, don't care.
Well, that was going to be my big one is CJ Stroud. If he's available and your quarterback isn't having a great season, I'd pick him up and start him immediately. That's a team that's going to consistently be behind. Last week, not counting, he's going to be throwing a lot. And he really has shown in the first 3 weeks that he can throw the ball. He's got 906 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's averaging just over 20 fantasy points a game. So if you've got a quarterback that's coming out of the gate struggling, like I do with Trevor Lawrence, he may be a guy that's a viable start for the rest of the season. Granted, they always hit that rookie wall, but he seems to be one of those. He may be the guy to prove that Ohio State quarterbacks don't always suck in the NFL.
Yeah. He's dropped back 140 times this year. That's second among quarterbacks. I know. He's fifth in passing yards, but he's only thrown 4 touchdowns. So,
yeah,
they're going to come. You're just going to have to be patient. But most of its success so far has been due to volume. But he's been grading better than most of the other rookie quarterbacks out there, like Bryce Young and
Richardson.
Others. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's only going to take a few more performances before you start seeing him as a weekly fantasy starter.
Yeah,
depending if that offense keeps going like they are. So I agree with you. That's a good one too.
And if you're in a dynasty league, he might be a guy that you want to pick up and hold on to moving forward because you get the feeling that Houston team is going to get better. They've got a few weapons, but you think they've drafted well. They traded next year's first round pick for Will Anderson, but he's panning out too. So you feel like Houston's a team on the rise, and CJ Stroud is a quarterback on the rise too.
Yep. And then I'd say, so Tank Dell, Stroud, very good. Like you said, with a dynasty, I like that. Stash him, grab him. Maybe nobody's even thinking. Now, if you're in a dynasty and they do rookie drafts and somebody already got him in your rookie draft, then you're obviously fucked there. But if not, he's a nice stash for now and see what happens. The other big one that you should go for is wide receiver Josh Palmer of the Los Angeles Chargers. Mike Williams is done for the season with an ACL. He had a big game the other day. And then unfortunately, season's over. So big deal. So Josh Palmer, next man up. He'll be the wide receiver 2 there. And Quentin Johnson, the rookie, will presumably be wide receiver 3. So he's also somebody that you might think about. He hasn't seen the volume. We'll see, what happens with that going forward. But definitely Josh Palmer, I would say somebody you should grab in that offense. It's potent. I've mentioned before. I'd put a claim in, and he's somebody else I'd pay 10% of my fab as well for.
Yeah. And I mean, we've touched on it before, but that Chargers defense is not very good. So this is going to be an offense that is going to be throwing a lot, either to
Yep,
stay
good,
into games or to try to come back.
yep, good
There's going
point.
to be a lot of opportunities for all of those receivers.
Good point. And I'll throw another one on there. Jordan Love.
Ooh. Oh, is this blasphemy by Lions fans?
Yeah, this is. I don't love it, but we have a podcast, and
Yeah,
we talk
we
about
do.
fantasy and sports and football. And Jordan Love is second in fantasy points per drop back behind Tua.
Whew.
It's pretty good. He's thrown 7 TDs. He's tied for 7th, and he's been winning without his top wide receiver Watson,
Yeah,
top running back Aaron Jones, top left tackle David Bakhtiari, and I think the left guard's been out, but I can't remember his name.
yeah.
So they're all expected to be back and play. Again, somebody else you might be thinking about. I don't have their schedule pulled up, but obviously they got the Lions this week.
Yeah. This is probably a topic of conversation for in the off season. They actually go Lions, then they go at Raiders, at Broncos, Vikings and Rams at home, and then at the Steelers. So their schedule's not too terribly tough.
I don't hate that because Detroit, Vegas, Denver, Minnesota's defense is horrible. The Rams, Pittsburgh is at Pittsburgh in November.
Oh man.
The Charger, so Detroit again, Kansas City, it's not horrible.
And sorry, I kind of interrupted myself with the schedule. This is definitely a topic we can hit on in the off season when we have less to talk about. But did the Packers back into another really, I'm not going to say Hall of Fame, but another really good quarterback? And I understand that you had Aaron Rodgers in front of you and you're not going to bench Aaron Rodgers, but all I heard out of Green Bay is that Jordan Love couldn't complete a pass in practice for the last 3 years. It's like, what changed this year? Did he just need to be the guy to become the guy? And
confidence is huge.
He's looking good. It's a small sample size, so we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But
plus, he got developed there, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers was any help with that. I don't think that he took him under his wing, so to speak, or anything.
True. Yeah, but it's not like Favre took Rodgers under his wing either. So
nope. That seems to be a thing there. I figured it out on my own. You can too.
Yep.
So
and
they did.
I'm not going to teach you how to take my job, basically.
Yeah, let's hope Jordan Love does that because the Bears, the Fields isn't the answer. Vikings are 0-3, and they got to be thinking about moving on from 35-year-old Cousins. So the division's up for grabs between the Packers and the Lions over the next 3 years. I'll just say,
that's something I want to talk about in the coming weeks as well as we get closer to the trade deadline. If the Vikings continue to falter, is Kirk a guy that you could send to the Jets and maybe salvage their season because he is a free agent after this year? Rodgers is going to come back. Could that be a potential trade at the trade deadline where the Vikings decide, hey, we need to go rookie quarterback, and there's a ton of good ones in the coming draft?
It could, but by that time, I think the Jets will be. Who else are they going to throw? I think I saw they signed Trevor Siemian today.
Whew.
Not sure what you're doing there. Matt Ryan flatly said, no, I ain't going back there. Like my cushy TV job now. I mean, there is nobody. They're going to throw Zach Wilson out there, and you're going to start to see the animosity. You already saw Michael Carter get kind of upset over the weekend. You're going to see the same stuff with Garrett. It's going to fall apart.
Yeah. I can't blame Matt Ryan for saying he didn't want to go there because that line is worse than the Colts line was last year, and Matt Ryan looked like trash behind that line. So, it'll be interesting to see what the Jets do, and if the Vikings decide to just cash out on this season and draft a quarterback. So, but I think long way of saying. Go ahead.
We can go to the listener league, talk about that for a minute, and then we'll wrap her up.
I just want to touch on 2 waiver wires, and we don't have to go in deep, but Melvin Gordon might be worth a pickup depending on who you have. Dobbins is out for the year. Justice Hill has the toe issue, and Gus Edwards is in concussion protocol, I think. So if you went heavy on Ravens running backs, Melvin Gordon might be a guy to put in a claim for.
Yep.
And then
That'd be a good one.
Jake,
See what he has left in the tank, because
Yeah.
he was in Denver last year. Denver?
Yeah, he
didn't
was.
look so great. Didn't look
Yeah.
so great, but
And then Jake Ferguson for the Cowboys. He's got 10 receptions on 18 targets, 70 yards, and a touchdown. He's averaging just under 8 points a game. If you're looking for a tight end to pop in as a 1 week kind of fill in, if your
Sure.
starter's on a bye, he might be a guy worth talking about.
Yep, I know he's what's them two girls? They were volleyball players. I think the Cavender twins. I don't know. One of them's dating Jake. One of them's dating Jake.
They're basketball players.
Oh,
Yeah.
I said volleyball. My bad. I was thinking
Yeah.
volleyball for some reason, but basketball players. Were they at Florida or Tennessee?
Miami.
Or
Wasn't it Miami?
There you go.
Yeah.
I think it was a Florida school. I just can't remember which one. But
Yeah,
one of
close.
them is dating Jake Ferguson. So
Nice. Good for him.
Good for him.
You're not dating Taylor Swift, but the tight ends seem to be doing well this year.
Yeah, they sure fucking do. So yeah, we got to touch in on our listener league here. You can see Ramey. Oh, I got to take the banner off. Where is it? Oh God, there it is. Where's the other thing? There it is. Now, why do you
crap? It's
my
my
fault.
Yeah,
you can't. Yeah, you can't put two up at the same time, which is stupid because I tried that already.
Yeah, my bad.
But let's see. Matt Ray's Piss Jugs is 1-2. I'm 1-2, and Ramey's 0-3. Drew still leading the league because he's got the 448 points. Christ, he's got the most points too. Not by much though. AJ's TD squad's got 10 less or whatever. But yeah. So how you feeling being 0-3? Are you looking?
I feel great.
Are you looking to unload anybody yet? We can do a deal right now on the air.
Well, I've had a lot of trade offers, but none that I'm willing to take just yet. So not willing to sell out on the season just yet. I lost a close game last night, and it's not about moral victories, but it does seem like I'm getting better, even with a 52-point scorer on my bench or whatever it was. So I think I'm going to put the standings up real quick. I think what it shows you is with Matt being 1-2, you being 1-2, me being 0-3, is any idiot can start a podcast.
That's correct. Yep. Any of us can, but it's early. Things could happen. Yeah. I know. I think Matt started 0-3 or 1-4 or something, and then ran the table in the league a few years ago. And it can be done. You just need a lot of things to fucking align.
Yep.
But let's see. I actually checked Ramey's roster to see if he was tanking. And that's it. Yeah. So Melting Snowman is Drew, right? I am right.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I thought that was the case, but
that's what it is. It would be rude for the host of the podcast to dominate the league coming out of the gate. So I want to make sure that the listeners stay engaged and participate as the season goes along. So that'll be my excuse this week. We'll see what we have next week.
I'm sure we all got waiver claims in for the same frickin' people, and not A-Chain because you have them already, but Josh Palmer and the like. But if you got any other waiver wire target questions, hit us up in the socials. We are putting the banner up because I'm very slow at this. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, or whatever you are calling it these days. Hit us up on there as well, or email us, stonedownsports1@gmail.com. I got it always monitored, so you can do that as well. We will be back in 47 hours for Thursday night. We'll preview NFL and fantasy action for week 4. We'll give our weekly aces and deuces as well, and our locks of the week.
And Matt will be back.
Yes, and our fearless leader. No, let's go with fearful. Yeah. We'll be back with us leading the way, and my anxiety can be a lot less during this, but
you did great, Kyle.
Appreciate that, Drew. Thanks, boys. Excellent show. Great advice. Appreciate the dinner making entertainment. Again, what's for dinner, man? What's
Yeah.
for dinner? Spaghetti.
This
Is it spaghetti, tacos, burgers, or salad or something?
this podcast can go on location.
Yes, yes, it can. Any kitchen in America that's going to feed me, we will travel. But yeah, again, thanks to our subscribers, listeners. We do appreciate you very much. Tell your friends, family, neighbors, coworkers.
Uh-oh. Kyle froze or I froze, so I'm going to fill in and hope that he comes back. Really appreciate everybody listening, watching, subscribing.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you're back.
Yeah, I disappeared. I was like,
Yeah,
this is
it's okay.
awesome.
Yeah. Ooh,
Baked
it's
chicken,
baked-
sweet potatoes, broccoli, and oh, damn, dude. Damn.
much
yeah.
healthier than I eat.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah. Is Drew the cook, or did he get cooked for? See, that's the question.
No, he's the cook. He's the cook.
He's the cook. Somebody else doing the dishes.
He is a Swiss Army knife. He's a 5-tool player.
Oh, nice, excellent. It's good to have
Yeah.
those type of friends.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
sure.
So
Cool. Yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple days. Thursday, 7:00, same place, same time.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Thanks, everybody.